Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Birmingham Bible Church Worldwide Winning Wednesday. We are so glad and just super excited that you have decided to join us here on today. We are right here every Wednesday at 12 noon Central Standard Time to give you information about your life and for your living. So thank you so much for watching us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, in your car, in your pajamas, wherever you're doing right now, wherever you are, thank you for watching us. And so you have logged in at the right time to receive just some great information on today. We believe that knowledge is power,
And so during these segments, we want to fill you with the knowledge to empower you physically, financially, mentally, all those key areas. And so we just ask that you share this broadcast with someone that you know, share this information with someone that you know and that you love. Well, this information for today is specifically for the men and the men in our lives. And so we are going to be talking about prostate cancer. Well, why are we talking about this? Well, one reason, I was watching the news this morning, and actually they've been talking about it this morning and yesterday morning. There have been several people that have logged in and talked about this topic because this month is National Prostate Awareness Month. And so depending on what site you're looking at, I saw that there were new cases every year ranging from 175,000 to 250,000 cases per year. And then, of course, associated with that, you have thousands who die from it. And so, there are health advocates that are out there. There are health experts who are concerned about this and want to make sure that we are in our best health possible. And so we have two health advocates here on today, Ms. Rochelle Wallace and Mr. Derek Flowers from the UAB Comprehensive Cancer Center. And so they're going to talk to our viewers about some key information regarding this. And so listen, if you have some questions, any comments, please put them in the comment section and we will look at them and get them addressed as soon as we can. Hello, Miss Rochelle.
Well, hello, Lady Pam. Am I coming through okay on my sound?
Yes.
Excellent.
You look great and sound great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us. We are always excited when we get the opportunity to share with you and your viewers, your listeners, your congregation, and all. It's just been a pleasure, and just so excited to be here with you today. And I'll get to introducing my team member here. He's newly joined with us, so we'll introduce him momentarily. But thank you so much for having us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Well, talk to us. Do you have a screen to share? I made you a co-host just in case you did.
I do. I absolutely do. So I'm going to go ahead and get things set up here. We're always very thankful when we get that opportunity to share with you. Let me get it pulled up here. Here we go. This is what we want.
And thank you, Mr. Derek. Thank you so much for joining us too.
Okay, let's see. Are you able to see my screen yet?
Yes, I see it. It's great.
Okay, let's see if we can adjust this a little bit here. There we go. That's what I want. You're seeing Understanding Prostate Cancer screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, as you said, that's what we want to talk about today. We are so excited and blessed to have this relationship with you all. And I know that when I was last here with you, we talked about, it was in June for Men's Health Awareness. And we got an opportunity to share a lot of different things about men's health and making sure that they were aware of the things that they needed to do. But specifically today, we wanted to just key in on prostate cancer. And one of the reasons for that, last time I shared this graphic with you in June, there are just so many different things that go on with the men in our lives. Like you said, they sometimes you have difficulties even getting them to go to the doctor's office. And as you can see, one of the statements on there talks about how men make half as many of their physician visits than would be a woman. And then they talked about one of the other things that may not be as widely known is that in many cases, men are more likely to be uninsured than women. So, they already have a whole lot of things that are coming against them, so to speak, when it comes to the health arena. So we are excited to be able to share with you. And so just really find it just it's a blessing that you guys make these type topics available to the community. I think that's wonderful. And so we're going to move on here. And as you've already stated, I just love it because every time I come, you've already done some homework and introduce everything, make it so easy for us. But yes, September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And you're right, I had the opportunity to see one of our UAB doctors actually on the news talking about it. And September is kickoff month for prostate cancer awareness this entire month of September. And just put this out there, just stick a pin in this also, but this actually kicks off our fall health initiatives entirely for both September and October, as well as November. We'll be celebrating and bringing out different educational topics. And like I share with you on a monthly basis, and thank you so much for sharing that with your followers as well, we'll be observing Prostate Cancer Awareness Month in September, Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, and then Lung Cancer Awareness in November. So we'll be sure and get you information that you can share with everyone about that. But yes, September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And that being said, one of the doctors that was probably on the news, I don't know if this is the one that you got to see, but it's Dr. Jeffrey Nix. He was actually on the news, I know, yesterday morning. I think he may be on there tomorrow as well. But Dr. Nix is a dynamic speaker. He's a wonderful physician here at UAB. And he actually hosted with us last year. He spoke on our Hey Fellas presentation. We entitled it Hey Fellas because we wanted to have the opportunity to just have men to just speak candidly, openly, and share some of their experiences. And he was absolutely phenomenal. He had such a great rapport with the men, and they just really opened up and could ask questions. So we are so pleased to say that he's going to be with us tonight. Lady Pam, that is actually, this event is free, open to the public. And like I always tell everybody, look, I don't know where else you're going to be able to go and have a doctor's attention for a full hour, ask questions, and not pay a penny for it. So take advantage of this, and it's free. You can join us. That's the registration information. And Lady Pam, I'll make sure, if I haven't gotten it to you, I will make sure I forward it to you so that you can share it with your members, as well as post it, and make sure that we're able to see. Look at y'all, tech savvy, already getting it down, because that is free, but you do need to register to join us. So please do join us for that. You'll again have an opportunity to participate, listen to him, and also tonight, Derek will be with me as well, but we will also have a couple of our CAB members. They're members of our Community Advisory Board, who are also prostate cancer survivors. So they will be sharing some of their story with us tonight, and it's just going to be a wonderful opportunity. So please take advantage of that and join us. And did you have any questions or anything that you want to ask about that before I move on?
Oh, no, ma'am. I actually took a snapshot of this screen, and so I'm actually going to send it to a couple of people that I know needs to hear it. So thank you.
Awesome. And I will, like I said, I'm going to send you that flyer as well, because on one of our PDF flyers, the link is live. You can just click on it and register from there. So I'll make sure that I get you that one so that you can go ahead and have them to register as soon as possible. We'd love to have you. But there again, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk just a little bit more as we're talking about prostate cancer. So let's just get into that just a little bit. Somewhat of a sensitive subject. I know when you're dealing with the men and all that kind of thing in our life, but it is a very common type cancer as it relates to men. And so just going back over with some of those numbers that you talked about, according to the American Cancer Society, it is estimated in 2021, just like you were saying on those numbers, approximately 248,530 new cases of prostate cancer alone. That's just the new cases of the incidence rate. But then 34,130 deaths from the prostate cancer. And when we talk about how common it is, it's the second leading cause of cancer death in men, and it's second only to lung cancer. We know lung cancer is the number one cancer death in both men and women as well. So those numbers that you were talking about, they are, you're right, you're talking nearly hundreds of thousands. But specifically, when you start talking about in communities of color, specifically African-American men and prostate cancer, 1 in 7 1 in 7 is the rate right now that they're estimating for men being diagnosed in the African American community, and some 29,750 in the new cases. That's roughly what that would equal out to. And then the death estimation of over 5,000 just in the African American community alone. So when you talk about these type numbers, I think it's very important that we delve even a little bit further into that. And that's part of the reason that I did want to have Derek along with me, because all men are at risk for prostate cancer. However, the risk, it does increase with age, but then African-American men have the highest rate of prostate cancer than any of the others. So having said that, I want to kind of give Derek a little bit of a heads up so that he can go ahead and get unmuted, because I'm going to invite Derek to share something with us that he's working on. But this is one of our newer infographics, Lady Pam, and I can share this with you as well. I'll get it over to you so that you can post this. But these are just some of the stats. This is one of our newest infographics that we've had developed here in our community outreach, but that just the African-American men, they're at a higher risk of developing prostate cancer. And then if they have a father or brother with the cancer, it more than doubles the risk. So that's why sometimes when you'll begin to see a little bit later on some of these other slides that, while we may say we want you to begin prostate screening at the age of 50, that can vary, especially if you're African-American men. But then that age rate can go down even lower, because it says African-American men with higher risk, that age can begin even as early as the age of 40. And that's specifically if you're going to have someone, say, either a brother or a father or a first-degree relative who have also had prostate cancer as well. But the leading message that we want to get out in this is that they need to begin to have that conversation with their physician. We want them to be able to make informed decisions and get the information once they begin to talk with their physician about the type of screening that's going to be best for them and when that screening should begin. So having said that, I want to now, without any further ado, introduce you to my team, one of my team members. Derek has been with us almost 2 full months now, and he has been an absolute delight and such an asset to our team here. We are so excited to have him to join us. Now, Lady Pam, Derek has actually joined us as the Jefferson County Program Coordinator. Did I get that right, Derek?
That's it.
Okay. He's a Jefferson County Program Coordinator. And myself, along with a couple of other team members, we've kind of been filling in for that position until we could get Derek on board here with us. And so actually coming up when there are needs regarding cancer education or even cancer talks, that kind of thing, Derek will be the one that can actually fill in and help to provide that information to you. So while, you can always call me and everything, but Derek is now our new Jefferson County Coordinator. So we're so thrilled to have him. But I wanted Derek to join us. I'll allow him to introduce himself. But I wanted you, Derek, to, if you would maybe just share, once we're talking about the risk and the type things that are being involved with the African-American men with prostate cancer, exactly what you're doing right now, and just what you have learned on some of the projects that you're working with, what that actually means for the African-American community. I'm sorry, I didn't have any idea this was going on right here on my phone. But if you would just elaborate a little bit more about that program or that project. And I know that it may be restricted somewhat, but I wanted you to just bring out some of the information that you've learned and that you guys are sharing as it relates to prostate cancer.
Hello, thank you, Rochelle, for the introduction. Thank you all for allowing us to be on this call with you today. The project that Rochelle is mentioning is called our Co-Creating Solutions Project, to where we're going to raise awareness about prostate cancer. Although the access is there for the screening process, what we found and what this study is going to address are the barriers that keep men from participating and getting their health status known. So one of the features, of course, we're going to talk about is racial bias, as well as financial access, educational access, And this project is going to partner with local churches and survey those men to see what problems they are having and see if we can identify ways that clinicians and other scientists can boost their results and processes so that more men sign up for prostate cancer screening. So we look forward to starting this challenge, if you will, this month with our team, as well as those local churches here in this area. And if we ever need anything, hopefully we can partner out with other churches as well and bring in more men so they can be a part of this study too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Lady Pam, were you about to say something?
Oh, no, man, I was just thinking that's awesome. And Derek just let us know what we could do as a church to help with this as well.
Yes, they've been phenomenal partners, Derek. So we look forward to being able to get this out. And I know that Derek has been actively involved with that, along with a couple of other things, even for lung cancer. So that lung cancer project that they're working on, I know we mentioned that somewhat last year, but just a sidebar with that, Derek, that project is about to end, I think, shortly, isn't it? What's the date on it?
Small plug on that very quickly. That
Okay.
project, our ALCASE project for lung cancer awareness, as of now, it is drawing to a close at the end of November. What we're doing is trying to, again, increase the knowledge of lung cancer awareness and help people be navigated to those screening processes. And as an incentive for men and women ages 55 to 80 years old that live in our target areas, including Jefferson County, they can partner with us and register for simply our guidance. We're not selling anything. We're not asking for an arm or a leg. All we're asking is just give us the chance to help you get to those appointments and address any barriers that you have, whether it be transportation, whether it be health education matters, whether it be even simple concerns about social standings where your family or friends may be involved. Let us help you get to those screenings. Again, it comes with you may be eligible for a $50 gift card if you simply let us help you get to those screening appointments.
Okay. Thank you so much, Derek. We appreciate that. And I told you he's been a wonderful asset, and he really has. They've been able to increase the number of people to get those screenings done, which is what we're very hopeful in doing today by providing this education on the prostate cancer awareness as well. So just briefly, here's some of the most common cancers that affect men. And of course, we told you already about lung cancer being number one, prostate number two. And this wasn't set to be in that order, but then you do have colorectal, and actually skin is probably more common. It's the most common of all, but these are just those that do also affect men commonly. So when you talk about the prostate, for those that don't know that kind of thing, it is actually just part of the male reproductive system, and it sits below the bladder and in front of the rectum. It's about the size of a walnut, and it will naturally increase in size as you age. And that's one of the things that they'll talk about even more in depthly, I'm sure, tonight with Dr. Nix, because sometimes they think, just because it's an enlarged prostate, that automatically means cancer, but it does not, because sometimes they'll experience just an enlarged prostate just with age. Sometimes even with a higher PSA level, it could be, an increased prostate size and that kind of thing. So that will not and does not mean cancer all the time. So when you talk about prostate cancer in general, what does that mean? And we've talked about this before. Cancer is just simply uncontrolled cell growth, basically. So when you're talking about natural cell growth, if you were to fall down and scratch your knee, that kind of thing, once what we used to call it back in the day, of course, where you're getting a scab on your sore, that kind of thing, and it begins to heal. But what happens is that in cancer is that those cells begin to grow uncontrollably. And so as they begin to grow out of control, that's when you may begin to see the cells growing out of control and forming a tumor. And out of those tumors, those kind of things, then you may see whether it's going to be malignant, which is cancerous, or benign, which is non-cancerous. So this is simply what happens as well in prostate cancer cells, and they'll begin to grow out of control. some of the symptoms and want to let you know that it may not even happen this way. It doesn't happen the same for everyone. And that's one of the things that we really want to be mindful of when you're talking to other survivors and that kind of thing. It does not have to happen this way, but some of them may include just inability to pass urine, a hard time with the flow on their urine, or pain, or that kind of thing, and even difficulty with an erection, blood in the urine. All of these are just symptoms that have been noted, but like I said, they do not have to come to play in everyone's case, and it may not happen the same way. And I always like to talk about, of course, when you're dealing with the risk factors and that kind of thing, and those things that you can change. And we always like to include these within these presentations. Of course, just watching your diet, your exercise, limiting your alcohol, and of course, smoking. Smoking is number one. And I see Derek over there. He's advocating with me, especially when we're talking about the lung cancer and the risk factors that we cannot, of course, is your age. And as we've already talked about, the risk can increase with age when you're talking about prostate cancer. And of course, your sex, just simply being born male, having a prostate, actually, that's things that you're not necessarily going to be able to do anything about, that being born biologically that way. And then with your race, as we talked about it before, with the rates for the African-American men being so much higher, disproportionately higher, of risk of actually developing this type of cancer. And the other thing that we talked about is the family history. And so when you wanted to talk about the risk factor going up, like we said, with that first degree relative, that absolutely just increases that chance of developing prostate cancer. So we're going to talk a little bit more when we start talking about screening and early detection. According to the American Cancer Society, we talk about getting that prostate screening, and we'll talk about the types of screening, but we want to talk about that age being 50 years old for average risk. And there again, we're talking average risk. But then when you start talking about including those risk factors that we just discussed, of course, African-American men and having that first degree relative, you're talking age 45. That age can go even lower for persons of even higher risk, especially if those relatives had developed it at an early age, or even if they've had a relative that died of it at an earlier age. That age group can go down to even the age of 40. So the important thing is to have this conversation with your physician. In July, we celebrated, a lot of people may not realize it, but in July, it was actually Family Reunion Month. And we talked about the importance of knowing your family medical history, because that can guide and direct your physician about things in ways that could be really life-saving for many people. I was talking to a young lady that said, she was going to her doctor and doing everything on a regular basis. And, she was talking about just having her regular checkups and that kind of thing. And then I think they mentioned something about a mammogram, and she was like, oh, well, no, you're good. We'll start that a little bit later. And then she made the statement, but my sister had it, or my aunt had it. And she was like, oh, Rochelle, you wouldn't believe how our conversation changed, how she immediately began to put some things in motion for, okay, well, yeah, we need to do this, and then we need to do this, and I need to be watching for this. And it is so important. And one of the men tonight, I'm so excited to have him. He talked about how, how many people in his family, how many brothers he has had to actually have prostate cancer. And then, but they had not talked about it. And he said after he's been an advocate and a wonderful speaker, proponent for screening and that kind of thing for many years. But what he actually said was that after he had become a survivor and gotten past it, he found out that his grandfather actually had it. And I think his father and his grandfather had it, but they didn't talk about it. and nobody had really talked about it. So then he's had it, and then several brothers. So a lot of times that just having the discussion is going to be so important, and making sure that we're able to just communicate with family members these kind of things that have been running rampant within the family, and perhaps we can get things diagnosed or begin screening at even earlier age. And you can stop me if I'm going too fast, trying to be mindful of your time as well.
Oh,
Hey, Rochelle, can I say something here?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The point that you made about our family connections is very important, because even though I've only been in this position with you all for 2 months, the stories that I have heard about lung cancer, not only the survival, those who survived, but those who already lost loved ones because they found out too late. It's the same thing with prostate cancer. It's one of those things, if we get ahead of it, and if we know what their status is before the symptoms start showing, that's when we can start using those medical practices and the knowledge that we have now to prolong life and see if we can even remove and heal the cancer as well. So it's important for us to stay on top of this. I know we don't like being proactive in our health. Lord knows I struggle with mine as well, but we have to keep making those progressive moves daily so that we know where we currently are, and so that'll help us get to where we need to be as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Derek. You were about to say something, Lady Pam?
Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. This is great. This is good information.
Okay, well, great. And we'll go ahead and move on. But yes, you are exactly right. Derek is, even in the time frame that he's been here, he's had direct conversations with people, even in his recruitment and that kind of thing. And in my time that I've been here as well, and even outside of work, you hear these stories on personal levels of how people, either they didn't know, or when they found it, it was already in a late stage and that kind of thing. And, there are different cancers that some of these, they develop at a later time in life. Because in many cases, they say that they diagnose certain cancers, sometimes say lung cancer, or even in prostate, they have found them in older men. However, a lot of these things, if we can, like Derek said, just get a jump on things. And once you begin that screening ahead of time, it can in any way increase the chance of finding and detecting it much earlier, that so helps the survival rate and also the types of treatment that you can receive. Now, when we're talking about the types of screening and early detection, what does that mean? There are a couple that we always like to refer to, one being the prostate-specific antigen test, PSA, and like we always joke around here, that's not a public service announcement, although it probably should be. That's the prostate-specific antigen test, and the DRE, which is the digital rectal exam. And a little bit about those, the PSA is a blood test that actually measures the level of the prostate antigens that is produced by the prostate. Also, it measures the level that's in the blood. And then we talked about this a little bit beforehand, that sometimes it, as a rule, and they like to put this out there just as a rule, the higher the PSA level in the blood, the more likely there could be a problem. That problem does not necessarily mean cancer. And so we just like to put that out there. But the important thing is talking with your physician and making sure that you are getting the screening done. But there are many things that go into that, and that does not necessarily have to mean that in every case. The other test that we mentioned was the digital rectal exam. This is the one that oftentimes we already know how that me and some of them feel about that one. That's part of the reason I'm so glad to have Derek on board with me, because that when we have these talks with men, oftentimes it becomes, it's a stigma sometimes that may be attached with this, or that they don't like to talk about it. So it's wonderful to have Derek here with us so that we can hopefully get the men to be a little bit more open and let them know, hey, there's another way that we can do this. You can actually get the PSA test, and it's a blood test. The difference here is, of course, the physician can actually feel, just like with women. With women, we know when we go with the mammogram or they do the clinical breast exam and that kind of thing, there's nothing like, knowing what you're feeling something that's abnormal, feeling a lump or bump or something that should not be there. Well, this is what the digital rectal exam actually does. And, and then of course, if there's anything that's detected, and even when you do the blood test, if there's a blood test found and the levels are high or whatever, they still may want to follow up with these kind of things, but there's another way to get things started off. So, of course, that's the other one. Now, and I won't go into much about this one because this actually depends on your physician. That's why we're always saying just make sure that you're talking with your physician so that he can better guide what's going to be necessary for your particular situation once you go. But there's this one that they talk about is watchful waiting, and it's treatment is only being given if and when there are problems. And ladies may be familiar with hearing something like this when it comes to, say, uterine fibroids or something like that. I know the doctors may say, well, yeah, you got fibroids, but if they don't bother you, we won't bother them, or that kind of thing. So this is somewhat what they're meaning when they talk about this active surveillance or watchful waiting. And then, of course, there's surgery, radiation, hormone, and cryotherapy. There again, early detection saves lives. We say that all the time. But when we talk about that, the earlier things are detected, that opens up the type of treatments that are available to the people a whole lot more than it would be if, we're waiting way down the line. And here's another one of our infographics that we have here. This one was developed here in our CLE office. One of our team members here helped us with this. And that's why we like to say, don't wait. Just don't wait. Go ahead and get your prostate checked because early detection saves lives. And, there again, we talk about those average risks that are involved with everything. And we want to, if there's average risk, there again, we're talking about the screening beginning at 50, but just keep in mind all of the other things that we talked about, the other factors that come into play that will actually change whether or not you're supposed to get in there earlier with the family history and that kind of thing going on. So, and actually, Lady Pam, we got through that a whole lot quicker than I thought because that's my full presentation, but I wanted to at least be mindful and open up if there was anything else that we needed to share with your listeners or your viewers today.
Yeah, this was awesome. You all gave just great detailed information, about the risk, what it is, the symptoms, the screenings. I did have one question because I know that typically, so the standard age is 50. However, if you have some family members who have it, who've died from it, then it needs to be sooner. So is there, if I'm just completely, normal guy, no family history, I'm getting it done at 50, how often after that should a person be screened for it?
It's an annual check. Okay. Yes, ma'am. It's an annual check. Like you said, normally under average risk, then that would be something that you're doing on an annual basis.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And I just want to piggyback on what you all said just about knowing your family history. I remember you saying that in June, and just how important it is for us to have conversations with our parents, grandparents. I know a lot of things about my health, and I was able to govern myself accordingly and talk to my doctor about things because my mother and grandmother shared things with me. And so it's important to have those conversations with your children. A lot of times we don't want to let other people know what's going on with us and, what have you, but this is something that can save lives. So
absolutely.
And I think I gave this personal testimony already that my mom was diagnosed with cancer a couple of years ago, and right now she's 74. So she was around the age of 72. And so I told my daughter about it, who's in her early 20s. And so when she told her physician about it, she was like, well, let's make sure we get you screened. I think at age 35, I think the standard age is 40. which is when I got tested. But at that time, my mom wasn't diagnosed with it. But just the importance of how they took it down 5 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
And that's what I was saying. We want to really get that out there, because it can, with the young lady that I was mentioning to you, how they were about to just, oh no, you got another 5 years. And then she brought that up. And it's like, oh, okay, no, that changes things tremendously. We need to go down a whole nother track, And I'm just, well, what if she had not said that? What if she didn't mention that at all? Then, so we just really want to take advantage of every advantage that we are allowed in knowing this, having this kind of information, and that, so it is just vitally important. And like you said, it can potentially be life-saving.
Yeah. Awesome. And Derek, I did share your information about your email address. I put that on our Facebook comment section, and the phone number. I had a question. Is what you sent me, is it specifically for lung cancer, or is it for also, I think you mentioned prostate, that, if people are having difficulty with, getting screens or transportation, can they also contact you, the information?
Yes, we'll be happy to help them with any lung cancer navigation that they need, but specifically for the Alcase project, that one is lung cancer relevant for the $50 gift card that people may be eligible for. So we want to make sure we split the difference between the two. We don't have any incentives for prostate cancer yet, but for lung cancer, we do have the $50 incentive.
Okay. But we're working on it. We're working on some things for even the prostate cancer, because it's so critical, especially within the African American community. We want to make sure that we can get this information out there to them and help to navigate them to the screenings that they will need. Now, when we talk about prostate cancer, we do have partners here that we're working with. We have worked with Mike Sly Foundation for many, many years, and there are some things that are available that can be helpful. If there are men that need help with screening, they can please contact us. Derek, if you don't mind, would you put it's already on the screen right here, 205-975-0003. They can call us or email us at the COE info email address, and we can get some information to them. If there's anyone that that's in need of assistance with getting that screening, we can definitely talk with our partners and get some things going to make sure that they can get that screening that's needed. And again, we talk about that age of 50 being that the age group, and even lower, like we said, for those other groups. And I bring that up because sometimes, depending on your insurance carrier, some of these screenings may or may not be available for them for pay. If their insurance carriers will not cover it until they reach that recommended age group. So we have to be mindful of that. But there again, if there are risk factors that are involved, pretty much there's not an issue with getting those screening and those testings covered.
Okay, good. And I was putting the information in the chat room as you were talking. So viewers, we do have that the phone number and the email listed if you want information. And so basically, we are, without an excuse as far as our health. There are so many programs. I know this in the Alabama area. However, if someone is watching from Georgia, maybe you all can call the number and they can guide you as far as who has the same, maybe parent or sister type program in another state.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because there with some of the screenings, like you said, for example, like with the we're coming up on October next month. We have the Alabama Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program. Well, there are different types of programs through the health department throughout the nation, throughout the country, and just through the state health department. And those programs will provide you free mammograms or Pap tests through your state health department. If you meet within certain, there are certain eligibility requirements that they would have to meet, and income guidelines and that kind of thing, but there is help available. So you're absolutely right. If there's some assistance that's needed, we'd be glad to guide them to some of our sister partnerships that we have available that can offer them some assistance as well. And also here at the Community Outreach and Engagement, our catchment area actually extends to Mississippi. So we have partners there as well in the Mississippi breast and cervical cancer as well, early detection program as well.
Okay, awesome. And just for our viewers, information, Miss Rochelle is going to join us next month and she's going to talk a little bit more about the breast cancer. We got some exciting things to talk about next month, and so we have to get you to, maybe you can slide in some information about the cervical cancer, because you don't hear much about that. I went to this restaurant one time and there was a picture of this young girl. She was like 25 and they had a memory of her because she died of cervical cancer. And I was Googling, I was like, cervical cancer. At that time, I was like, you can get that, and so I think you probably need to slide a little information there about cervical cancer too.
Absolutely. We'll be glad to, because when I first started with you guys, I was kind of telling you a little bit about our office. Cervical cancer is one of our impact cancers. We actually have 7 now. Breast, lung, and prostate cancer are our 3 primary cancers. And then secondary impact cancers here in the office is colorectal cancer as well as cervical cancer. And cervical cancer is one of those, you're right, it's unfortunate a lot of people don't hear about it, but cervical cancer is actually preventable with the HPV vaccine. And I know we didn't get a chance. We didn't really do a whole lot with you guys on last month in August, but in August, we actually did a lot of promotion about the HPV vaccine as children were getting ready to go back to school and that kind of thing, along with their immunizations and vaccines, because they can actually start getting that vaccine at the age of 9. And the HPV vaccine will once given that can help as far as preventing with the any type of the human papilloma virus, which is known to cause cervical cancer. So having taken that vaccine, we're talking a cancer that's totally preventable. So yeah, we definitely will hit on that some on next month. But cervical cancer awareness month is actually January. So we'll get, even more opportunity to get you further information.
Okay, that sounds good. Yes, ma'am. And I had one more question for you guys. When I hear people talk about the care team, so once someone is diagnosed with prostate cancer, what kind of care team is around them? I know there's probably the surgeon or the doctor. And then is there a nutritionist who kind of helps them, let's say with their diet, some of those factors you talked about? What does that look like?
Well, I'm going to be very honest with you, Lady Pam. That is something that's going to be guided specifically by the individual. And depending on the stage that we're talking about, it can kind of determine who's going to have to be involved in that kind of thing. We like to try to talk about, now when you talked about that diet, that's something that we wanted to include even on the front end, just because now some of these things are still in studies, but there've been talks about processed meats, red meats, even just some of these things we probably don't even need to mention. I forget where we are, but some of these areas are things hopefully that we could even address on the front end as a preventive measure than, necessarily then within the care treatment. But honestly, it would really depend on the individual person, where they are and what that individual physician may prescribe for that patient at that time. And like I said, again, with the stage and where they are after diagnosis. Now, Derek, is there anything else that you in your time here with them you wanted to add to that?
Just one quick note, just like we talked about with the family dynamic, there are also support groups for people who are not related. I use them. Many people can testify to them through social media, where you can get in contact with other people who have gone through the process or maybe going through it right now. People who will share their stories about loved ones who also endured those certain cancers as well. And as technology is increasing, our knowledge base is also increasing as well, to where we have more access to information. So we're becoming more knowledgeable about these subjects as well. So people are kind of slowly lessening those self barriers that we put on ourselves, being a little sketchy about things, a little scared, even simple and honest ignorance at times that we suffer from. But as we engage in those tools, we engage in more technology, we talk with survivalists, we talk with others who are going through the process. That helps us to take care of one another as we should. So that way we don't have to go through these things alone as well. So, of course, family dynamic is always great, but there's also support teams that you can contact through social media and even contacting your doctor to see if they can put you in contact with another survivalist as well.
Yeah. That's awesome. So much, because you have some people who don't have those family dynamics. They don't have, that great support system. So it's great that we are, community, being a community, and we're helping each other, and we're, making sure we're there for each other and making sure everybody's getting what they need. And so, so that's so important. So important. Thank you so much for that. And then also it helps with the progression. It helps with, a lot of times people will, and I don't know if there's any studies out there, but if someone who is going through an illness, if they have somebody with them, it may prolong their life, because they're like, hey, I got somebody who's in my corner. I got somebody who's there for me. And so, so all that, I believe, it takes a part in that. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And then, and what we'll do before we dismiss, because I don't want to hold y'all too long either, I'm just going to run through a few of our church announcements for our viewers. And then if y'all can come back at the end and just kind of wrap it all up and just tell us some key things y'all want us to remember. I know I got a lot out of it. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen at the time. Just give me a second. All right. So thank you everyone for joining us here on today. We had a great segment with Miss Rochelle Wallace and Derek Flowers of UAB. Of course, our theme for this year is Reconstruction 2021. And so we are believing that God is going to reconstruct everything in your life, especially in the areas of your health. So keep that in the forefront of your mind. Of course, you can watch us on YouTube. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and we are on Instagram. Of course, if you want to make sure that you are being a part of BBC, of course, and getting all the notifications and all the announcements, you can download an app. We have an app now, My Sunday app. Simply go to your app store, download My Sunday, which is one word, and then locate Birmingham Bible Church. Then to receive text messages, you can text BBCWW to 94253. That's BBCWW to 94253, and you can receive messages that way as well. Then, of course, we have a business directory. If you want to be a part of it, it's not only a part of the church's directory, but a part of a national Christian database. And so, of course, you can visit bhambc.org. Simply scroll to the bottom, click on business directory, and then you can key in your information as well. Every Tuesday, we have a wonderful time studying with Dr. James H. Mason III, a study in the scriptures. We are literally walking through the book of Philippians. You don't want to miss it. If you missed yesterday's, it's okay. You can go back on our Facebook page. You can click on that. And then also we have our outlines available on our website at bhambc.org. If you scroll to the top, click on either the message outline and then scroll and find a study in the scriptures, then you can find the lesson that was taught on yesterday and you can follow along. Please join us next Thursday as Stephen Thurston is going to talk about starting your own business. People talk about it. What's involved in it? What should you do? What should you not do? So he's going to talk about all that good stuff this time next week on all of our social media outlets. And then, of course, every Saturday at 10 a.m., we are in the midst of our small groups studying about how to tame our tongues. So important. We all need to know how to do that. And so that's every Saturday at 10 a.m. Of course, if you have not been a part of it, please email us and we can give you that private Zoom information. Of course, email address is ladypam@tcowi.org. And then this Sunday, we are having our drive up celebration at 9 a.m. Please note the change in time. It is 9 a.m. in the parking lot of C.W. Hayes School. We're going to have a time of social distance fellowship. So really excited about that. We do this on a monthly basis. So we will see you this Sunday at 9 a.m. Then, of course, Pastor Mason will continue the series Summer in the Psalm, looking at a different particular division in Psalms. And so you don't want to miss this Sunday. It is part 3 of Psalm 91. So God's protection plan. You don't want to miss that this Sunday as well. And then our prayer room call is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We all need prayer, especially during this time. It's at 6 a.m. The new number is now 727-731-0433. Again, that's 727-731-0433. The old number will eventually fall off come September the 15th. So make sure you have this new number plugged into your phone. And then we're super excited. The congratulatory goes to the winners of our summer reading program. We had 2 winners. We are encouraging our children at BBC to all be leaders by reading. And so we have Miss Sydney Winston. She won the 3rd to 5th grade level. And then Caleb Mason won the 6th to 8th grade level. So congratulations goes to them, and they were awarded some prizes. And so if you are ready to have some fun, just, it's been stressful enough, COVID is here and it's just wreaking havoc, and you just, I need some time just to have some fun. Listen, we are having a virtual paint party for singles, for couples. It is with Miss Liz Brent of Brent Art. The first 5 people, it will be free. The registration is free. And so listen, she just emailed me the other day. And so as far as I know, we have 2 more spots available. So the website, please don't contact us. You go to her website, and then you're going to get on www.lizbrentart.com and then /BBC. Okay, and so that event is going to be September the 24th at 7:00 p.m. Once you register, she'll tell you the list of supplies that you need to get, or you can purchase some from her and she can send to you. But it is going to be, after that first 5 people have registered for free, then it's going to be $25 per screen. And we are asking that you limit 2 people per screen. And then in October, it's Ladies Month, y'all. We have a virtual women's empowerment conference. We have it every year. This year, the theme is Built by God. You were built for this. So we have some dynamic speakers who are going to speak to our hearts and our situations. They are on the screen, but they're going to talk about how we were built to be physically fit, to have great health, to be super moms, to handle our business, for a relationship with God, and to have great mental health. So that's going to be Saturday, October the 16th at 10 a.m. And this event is virtual on all of our social media websites. Also, let me go back, because we're also going to have t-shirts that have been made, that have been designed. In the bottom right corner, Nikila Huggins is the person to see. Her number is 205-915-7989, and you can contact her about your Built by God shirt. She can do any color shirt, any type writing, so please see her for that information. Of course, thank you for your continued prayers and support for our 11 Compassion International children. We have been in constant contact with them. And so, of course, we're also not only sponsoring them, but we're also giving additional monies to help with the relief effort after the earthquake hit them a couple of months ago. And so thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. And then, of course, because of your gifts, it goes towards their food, their medical supplies, emotional needs, their physical needs, everything they need. And then, of course, we are constantly giving and saving towards our land, our future, believing that God will continue to allow us to do ministry debt-free and also build debt-free. And so thank you so much for your contributions for that as well. And just thank you for how each one of y'all, how y'all share this information, how you reach other people. Our numbers, our small group numbers, everything is constantly growing because of people like you, because you share with a neighbor, you share with a friend. So we're asking that you continue to do that so that we can all go higher together. And that's all we have. Please have an awesome week. And just make sure, like we always say, that you are staying safe, you're staying sane, and you are staying sanitized. So, Miss Rochelle and Mr. Derek, do y'all have any final words? I just thank you for all this great information. My takeaways were really knowing your family history, that early detection, how it's key, making sure that you making those yearly appointments. And even though it's uncomfortable, it's best to do it now as opposed to surgery and chemotherapy and all that stuff that you will need later on. And so are there any other things that you would like to add before we dismiss?
Derek, did you want to share anything?
Just a reminder that there are different methods for prostate cancer screenings as well. Remember that we do have that blood test now, to where that is also an option in addition to the digital option as well. Don't let these things scare you. A lot of things that are good for us are uncomfortable, but we go through those processes because we want to strengthen our futures as well. And of course, my last little plug for lung cancer awareness. Again, my email address is flowers, FLOWERS, @uab.edu. You could be eligible for a $50 gift card if you allow us to help you get through the screening process for lung cancer. Give me a call at 205-975-3622.
Okay, so Lady Pam, you know who you're going to have for November, right?
I know who I'm having November.
Okay.
I wrote the number down.
Good. I just want to throw that out there, just in case you were looking or wondering. You are just hint on that.
No, that's fine. Derek, you can put all the plugs you want. That's fine.
Okay.
It's okay with us. Yes, ma'am. I got it.
Well, great. But I thank you just as well. I thank you so much for this opportunity, as always, Lady Pam. Just do want to remind everybody about the prostate cancer kickoff tonight that begins promptly at 5:30. I will send you the graphic so that you can post it as well, Lady Pam. And again, that's free. And I won't be doing nearly as much talking tonight. That's why we got Derek on board with us, along with some other gentlemen, so that they can feel free to talk. Just last year we entitled it "Hey Fellas," because we wanted them to be able to talk and ask the questions that are, really burning and pertinent for them. And hopefully we'll have great participation with that as well tonight. And then I took me a couple of notes down. I have read that book, Taming the Tongue. It's by Deborah Verghese. Right. Loved it. Yes. It is a wonderful read. Got some wonderful takeaways, and it was just you will thoroughly be blessed by that completely. And I know it's a life-changing kind of resource to have. Yes. And the other thing I wrote down now, I'm going to be contacting you about my Built by God t-shirt. I thought that was wonderful. I'd love to have me one of those as well. So
yes, ma'am. Oh, definitely. Thank you.
Yes. Well, again, but thank you so much. Just remember that early detection saves lives, and anything that we can do, feel free to contact us, give us a call. We'll be glad to do whatever we can to assist you guys in getting that screening and or any type of educational resources that you might need.
And thank you so much. Thank you all for volunteering your time on today. Wonderful information. And so thank you so much, and God bless y'all.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.